You are listening to Right Off the Bus.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode number 29. Pat, it's already episode 29. It is Wednesday, July 14th. I'm here, Chandler Hutchison, with my wonderful co-host, Pat Mahoney. Pat, what's going on, man?
I don't know. We're back. We're back here on this fine Tuesday evening where it'll be Wednesday when you're listening. But everything is good. Everything is good.
Sometimes the timelines don't match up when we speak on this podcast. I think about it when I listen to it. I'm like, man, we are confusing to listen to sometimes, but we are here. You're going to be listening to it at some point, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We appreciate you listening, guys. Pat, we were talking about, we don't have much going on, unfortunately, but I was saying, I'm feeling good, man. I'm getting my mileage back up the past couple days, 2 4-mile runs back to back. I went to the rock gym this morning on my day off. So man, I'm chilling. I'm feeling good. I got 2 of those wonderful emails. We're not moving forward with your application this week too, so we're chilling, man.
I've received many of those in my life, so it's no worries for definitely months at a time. So no worries
Just 2
there.
more, it's all good.
That's such a bad experience. But I feel like everyone should have to go through it at some point. We go our whole lives trying to understand rejection, and rejection is a good thing to grow from. So it's okay to get rejected from places. And you know what?
It's a wisdom.
It's going to work out for a reason somewhere, some way. Eventually, it just takes time, I guess.
I didn't want to work there anyways.
Yeah. New inspirational start to the podcast. That's what we're going for.
Dude, I'm here for it. We might have to start inspirational every time. That's nice.
No, but I'm good because the sports world's always crazy in June. I feel like every year. I mean, there's a lot going on. Like the Stanley Cup playoffs just ended. Basketball is ending now, but then you had the Euros, you had Wimbledon. If you even, I don't really watch tennis, but there's just a lot of sports going on, so it's a good time of year.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Pat, let's dive into some headlines. You brought up tennis. Novak Djokovic, he just won his 20th, whatever super title. I don't even know what it is in tennis anymore, but he ties Nadal, Federer for
Grand Slam.
For some all-time records, man. That dude's a legend. That wasn't on here, but shout out tennis, man.
The other guys were bounced early. If I saw correctly, I don't watch tennis much, but I saw Nadal and Federer went out well before they were supposed to, and then Djokovic won again. I feel like he always does. He's probably gonna win the next thing too. I mean, Djokovic is unbelievable, and I feel like he's been unbelievable since I was in 8th grade. Yeah, it's unbelievable. It was Federer and then Nadal and then Djokovic. Those were the 3 biggest guys that came along.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Absolute legends right there on that list. Now, Pat, let's get into it. The MLB All Star break going on. And really what we want to touch on is the home run derby, because let's face it, that's the entertaining part of MLB All Star weekend. And only if the right people are in it. And the right people were Pat, man. And Pete Alonso, did you watch him in that first round?
Yeah. He put on a show the entire time. I mean, he's unbelievable.
Most home runs ever in a home run derby, over the couple rounds. He just destroyed the ball. I didn't know he won the Mets single season record for home runs his rookie year, and also the rookie home run record his rookie year with 53 when he won the home run derby.
I remember he hit a lot. I didn't remember it was 53 though. I remember he was absolutely crushing the ball. Yep. Then won one, and then he just won another home run derby. Beat some pretty big names too, Juan Soto, Shohei Ohtani, so some big names to beat out.
Absolutely, man. And I got to tell you, as much fun as this is, I turned this off after Ohtani got out. He went into that triple overtime,
same here,
extra swings with Juan Soto, and Soto was just connecting beautifully at the end. Those 3 home runs on that 3-swing finale. But man, Ohtani was done. That was the end of the first round. I was like, all right, I'm gonna throw on some FIFA.
Yeah, he was the show for the night. And the home run derby, like many things, is not what it once was, and it's just not as entertaining to watch anymore. So I shut it off as well. I was right there with you. Ohtani was good. Soto was good. Beyond that, I looked who won after. I got a SportsCenter notification that Pete Alonso won, so that was that for me.
I know my experience with the the home run derby is watch the first round, go do something else, and get Pete Alonso wins, and me going, oh, nice,
Yeah,
and
great.
that's kind of the extent.
It's like a golf clap situation. There's not much else you can do to support that. You're not pumped about anything. Even if a guy from the Red Sox won, I'm not pumped.
Right. Yeah. No, I'm with you. Pat, what about Stephen A, man? Just another foot in the mouth. Shohei Ohtani can't be the face of baseball because he doesn't speak English. I didn't think this was as big of a deal. Like, I didn't think this comment should have gotten this much publicity, but I guess it really offended people. Can't argue against that. But I think what he meant was it's harder for an athlete that doesn't speak English to become the face of a sport. And I think that's kind of what he was trying to go with, but just didn't quite come out all right.
And it was like a few days that actually were going really well for Stephen A too. Like they
Right.
brought him for analysis on the McGregor Poirier card at UFC 264. And last time they had Stephen A and brought him in, which was at Connor's fight versus Donald Cerrone. Everyone hated it and like he didn't do well. But so they brought him in this time and everyone was kind of expecting the same. And they were like, why did I see Stephen A here? He's not a fighting guy. But I mean, with ESPN, and he came out and he did a really good job. So it started out really good. Like he did good in the space where people thought he was going to fail. And then I don't know, 48 hours later, he goes and tweets about this nonsense. Or he didn't tweet about it. He said it on his show with Kellerman. So I don't know. It was a tough week for Stephen A. Those are bad comments, but I hope we'll just move on from it. And I agree with you as well.
Yeah, and I will say too, man, this man works hard. He was in Vegas one night for the UFC. The next night he was in Milwaukee for NBA Finals Game 3, and then the next night he was in Colorado for the Home Run Derby, and then today he's in New York City doing his show. I mean, that's 4 days in a row.
Yeah, he's one of the hardest workers they got over there. That's for sure. I think he had to be to get to the point he's at now.
Earning that $12 million deal.
He definitely is. Like he's earned every dime of that. I will say that.
All right, man. And just last thing on the MLB All Star weekend, real quick. I'll say I'm just amped to see Rafi Devers and Xander Bogaerts in that starting lineup. Xander hitting third, Rafi hitting fifth. Rafa's leading our team in home runs, man. They're both playing great. Red Sox best record in the AL. Just wanted to shout them out. I got the Big Papi jersey on, Pat. And I got my little magazine in a frame of Manny Ramirez up there. Shout out to the OGs 24 and 34, man. Love to see the Sox getting represented.
Yeah, we got to shout out our New England teams. But I like that you got the name on the jersey because I have a real problem with jerseys that don't have the names on them, that are just like blank. But it's like $100 for those on the MLB shop. Or you at least got the number. That's what I mean. Like at least the number on MLB shop. Those are like 100, and then if you get a name on it, it's like 150.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's I got a real problem with it.
I'm with you too. This one's been in my family for however long because David Ortiz, it was probably bought in like 2005, so I think I'm like the fourth person to have worn it out of my brothers. But nonetheless, man, still nice and shiny, no stains. So we're still rocking the Papi jersey.
That's another thing. I ruin all the clothes I have. So I just got a new crew neck. I went out last Saturday, destroyed. Like I potentially the stains might have come out, but for now it's destroyed.
Not looking good.
No. So the fact that you've kept that thing crystal white as it is, you look good over there.
I will say, man, I was not allowed to wear white for a large portion of my childhood. I wasn't put in anything white because I just stained everything. So this is some real character development here for me.
Yeah. We see it in sports too. They wear the white jerseys and they're destroyed every game. It's like, I don't know how if they're just washing them or somehow just buying new jerseys all the time. I don't know. Probably with the $150 I'm paying on the MLB.com shop. That's probably where they're getting the funds for that.
Absolute heist paying all of Rob Manfred's salary. It's just not right. All right, Pat, let's move on, man. Men's Olympic basketball team. Pat, why don't you take it away on this one, man? I don't even know if I can say it. This is just
it's
terrible.
It is not good. I grew up and the players we had, like we just did not lose. Yeah, I don't even think in exhibition games. I mean, I was young growing up, but I don't remember them losing ever, even if it was just an exhibition game. So the fact that, we've kind of got a weird roster situation. We have great players, but it's not like every star in the league like it used to be, where you had LeBron, CP3, like you had the whole banana boat crew. Like now, we have Durant, we have Lillard, we have Tatum. but our center's Bam Adebayo, and then I got some other guys I don't even know. But we lose to Nigeria and Australia. I think those aren't two like huge, basketball nations. Aaron Baines is their center. I mean, it's in Australia, and then I think
Patty Mills
Nigeria.
and Joe Ingles for
Yeah,
Australia. Ben
yeah,
Simmons isn't even playing.
no, and that'd be reasonable if they had Ben Simmons too. As much hate as Ben Simmons is getting right now, he would make their team a lot better. So I don't know. I don't know if we should be alarmed about the U.S. team, if it's just exhibition. We're getting the kinks out. I mean, these guys are probably tired. They just played an entire NBA season. So coming to this, I don't know.
Yeah, I will say there's absolutely no excuse for them losing. They absolutely should win every game. I don't know what the split was on the Australia game, but the US was a 28.5 point favorite against Nigeria.
I think it was like 92-83 or something like that. It wasn't
Yeah.
it wasn't like close, I mean, it wasn't a
Yeah.
blowout, but it wasn't close.
Yeah, but I mean, this is unacceptable, dude. The US D, E, F, and G teams should all win Olympic gold. And that's not an exaggeration. I mean, the worst player on this roster is Kevin Love. He would start on every single other roster in the world. I'm not kidding. Jeremy Grant is the second worst player on this team. He would start on every single other Olympic team in the world. And
Yeah,
that's not
absolutely.
an exaggeration.
No.
So the fact that they couldn't get it going, now Jason Tatum's out day to day. I will say they're missing three guys. They're missing Middleton, Drew Holiday, and Devin Booker. Guess what? You still have three other NBA guys filling in for them.
Yeah.
It's
not like there's no lacking of talent whatsoever.
Kevin
Not
Durant.
at all. Yeah.
Dame.
And I'm worried about coming up against Luka and is it Slovenia? Is that where he's? Yeah. If we got to come up against them the way we look now, Luka's gonna drop a 40-point triple double on us.
Oh, dude, it's gonna be tough. And you put on here Popovich, man. What did Pop have to say?
He was not happy. The reporter said some snarky comment, and Popovich was not happy about it, which is understandable. It was like reporters have a habit of doing that, asking extremely obnoxious questions just to like try to get their ego across or their point across. But it happened at the UFC press conference. Like the media was particularly harsh against McGregor mostly, but yeah, for this, I mean, Popovich doesn't stand for much crap anyways. I think as it is throughout all his Spurs teams and now coaching USA taking over for Coach K. It's just I don't know. They're probably getting the kinks out. I'd be annoyed too.
Yeah, I'd be annoyed, but I will say the U.S. team will not lose another game starting right now. They are going to not lose another exhibition game, and they are going to sweep and destroy everyone in the Olympics.
I got to imagine they'll still win gold. I mean, I think they'll still win gold. Like I said, I think they're getting the kinks out. These guys just played an entire season. They don't play as a team typically. They're all from different teams. So, I mean, I guess that goes for all the other countries too, but I'd like to think more excuses I'll come up with that we're not going to lose another game.
I mean, if we lose to Argentina tonight in an exhibition game that doesn't have prime Manu Ginobili and prime Luis Scola stepping out,
that roster used to scare me. That roster used to scare me. Like I was like, if there's any teams that could beat us, it was Argentina or Spain with the Gasol brothers, and that was it. And then they got like Ricky Rubio. So beyond that, in Argentina with prime Manu and Scola, there was no other countries that stood a chance. There is a lot of talent spread out now, as opposed to like even 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah,
it's a little bit the gap's closing and everything.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree there. Basketball's been around a lot longer everywhere else now too. It's not just the American sport anymore. Pat, why don't you bring us to this next headline, man? McGregor, Poirier, the trilogy ends, maybe, question mark?
Yeah, that was just tough. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, because he said he might want the rematch, or Dana might want him. And that was another thing with those reports. It was like, oh, Dana says he wants the rematch. And then I went back and listened to the press conference. He didn't say that. He was like, oh, we'll see how it plays out. He said it's a possibility. It's not like, oh, he wants that. I mean, he probably does because Connor broke his leg, and you don't know. I technically don't know what was going to happen. I mean, it's fighting. Anything can happen, but Dustin was saying, second round, nothing changes. Connor saying, oh, if we got to that second round, that's when I finish you. And like his coach was saying, yeah, like I really like the spot we were in until he broke his leg. But I don't know. Two judges had Poirier winning 10-8 in the round, and the other had it 10-9 for Poirier. I probably would have saw it 10-9. I don't think I would have given him the 10-8. But yeah, I mean, Connor seems to be at a low point, and I thought he should have retired, just stayed retired a while ago. He came back and beat Cerrone, and I was excited about it. But then I knew Dustin was going to be a tough matchup again when they came around this time, because I've been following Dustin since I got into the UFC, and he has gotten a lot better. And I remember watching him fight like Max Holloway and becoming an interim champion. He's fought in everyone who's there in the division. He's beat most of them besides like Khabib, who nobody beat. Obviously, he was 29-0. So at this point, I hope Connor I hope he just retires, or he takes like the trilogy fight with Nate Diaz and those guys retire after that. But beyond those two options, I don't want to see Poirier a fourth time unless he were to beat another guy and then get to a title shot, like maybe. But again, those are my two primary options, are Nate Diaz trilogy and then retire, or just retire. He broke his leg.
Yeah, and that's what's so tough. Like you said, I mean, Poirier was winning the round. I'm with you. I thought I would have scored that round 10-9. I didn't see that much dominance outside of the break.
Mm-hmm.
If you include the break into this analysis, then yeah, I give it to Nate because one guy can't fight, right? And that's, it happened, and man, it was so tough to watch. But yeah, Connor really does seem at a low point, man. I mean, you're on the ground with your ankle snapped, dangling, man, limp, and you're yelling, "Doctor stoppage, doctor stoppage," and you're still calling him out, and you're still yelling, "Your wife's in my DMs." Like, what is going on with this guy? It is scary where he's at right now. And I'll tell you, I think he should be retired as well. I don't think he will. But Poirier said, man, we're fighting again. He said, whether it's in the street, in the octagon, we're fighting again.
Yeah.
But I beg you, Dustin, just go for the title and not McGregor for a fourth time. You've made your point. You've won the last two. Dude, go for the title. It's there. You are ready. Just no more McGregor fights for Poirier. It does not benefit him.
I 100% agree. We don't want to see Connor retire. Like, I'm a big Connor guy, and I don't agree with anything that he said after the fact. Like, telling him he was going to kill his wife and him in bed.
What?
That was a little too much. But like, I'm a big Connor guy, and I don't want to see him retire 1-3 against Dustin Poirier, having lost 3 in a row. And yeah, and he's lost to like the who's who of people. I mean, he's lost to Khabib and then Dustin twice. And I think those are his last 3 losses. So, I mean, those are top tier talent. Like, that's the cream of the crop in the UFC. But he still is at a low point because it's just not what everyone expects of Connor. No one wants to keep seeing Connor lose. And he did break his leg, which is really bad. I think he got paid, like, it was reported like $20 million after pay-per-view buys and stuff. So fighting for 20 million. I mean, I probably want to come back too, but he has so much money. And I think if he hadn't broken his leg and he actually fought, I think there was an even better chance of it. He was definitely going to come back if he lost, but didn't break anything. But now that he broke anything, like, I would just rather not see him come back.
Connor is nearing celebrity fighting as his next path. Connor is nearing Jake Paul, Logan Paul. That's because he can't compete with the top guys in his weight class right now. And that's simply how it is. It has not gone well.
Yeah, he's in the best division. It's like he's not active enough.
And he's had like 3 fights in 4 years. He's taken time off. He did the Floyd thing. He's had his injuries. But man, he's nearing a scary, scary portion of his career. And I hope he turns it around, but otherwise stay retired. And I did just mention Jake Paul real quick. I saw a video, man, of him and Woodley going at it before a fight. And Jake Paul said, if I beat you, you have to get I love Jake Paul tattooed, and vice versa. If you beat me, I'll get I love Tyron Woodley tattooed on me. And Tyrone was hesitant, and Jake said, yo, if you're confident, do it. He's like, all right, bet. So I'm excited for the post.
I can guarantee that. I can guarantee Tyron Woodley is not going to get a tattoo of Jake Paul. I can guarantee there's no way. He'll be like, I bet. But like, if he loses to Jake, he's not getting that tattoo. There's no way.
On it on camera, man.
Or beyond like that, like he had to get like his nickname Problem Child. That would be so much worse. Yep. Jake Paul he's just walking around with like a Mickey Mouse bag because he owns it, that people call him like a Mickey Mouse celebrity or whatever. It's so dumb. But I do not want to see Connor fight Jake Paul, but I wouldn't mind seeing him box because I kind of just see that as a whole separate thing. Like I say retire, but if he was training to fight Manny Pacquiao, supposedly, that'd be cool to see. I wouldn't mind that. And then he's 0-2 in boxing. If he loses that, I don't care.
Men.
Yeah, in pubs,
Stop
that's not a great idea.
50-year-old men.
In pubs, not a great idea.
Yeah, no, man, it's tough. It's tough. All right.
Yeah, it's tough for Connor, but I would just say Dustin's his next fight's the title, and
yes,
Connor won't be seeing Dustin for a long time if they do the fourth fight.
I absolutely agree with you. Moving on, Pat, two more headlines real quick. Washington football team announced that there will still be no team name or logo or mascot for another year. They said we're going to finalize it in 2022. Man, how long is this going to take? I mean, this is getting ridiculous. Washington football team. I kind of feel like another team should do this. I feel like maybe we'll just have, Massachusetts football team and New York football team. This is so, come on, man. You've had a year.
And I was looking at this earlier and I was just annoyed. I was like, can you guys just figure out a team name? I guess they sent out things to season ticket holders to ask recommendations, but one of the recommendations was like Warriors, and they were like, that's a slippery slope. That's a little too close to, I don't think they want anything close to Native American heritage. So, but I was like, you guys couldn't figure out a name in a whole like year and a half. Like it took, we have to wait another.
Paid to figure this out.
And I guess they have to do like logo and artwork and all that stuff, but they probably got entire teams for this. I mean, it's an NFL organization,
Dude, they are spending millions of dollars on this rebrand and they haven't been able to do it, Pat. I mean, this is absurd. And I don't know, man. They just cannot figure it out. It's ridiculous. Just name the team. Just name it.
It is. I am so. I mean, Washington is a dysfunctional franchise. I know that's sneak peek. One of our listener questions. They are a dysfunctional franchise, and I'm surprised they're getting it done as early as 2022. To be honest, I'm surprised it's not taking longer.
But the good news is, Pat, to increase their diversity and get new voices in, the owner announced his wife onto the board to bring in female influence. Oh, yay, the billionaire's wife. Yeah, keep it going.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, now they just got an absolute power monopoly over at Washington, so that's great.
Oh, man. Washington is as Washington does, I guess, Pat. Let's move on. Japan declares a state of emergency because of COVID, Pat. We thought we were past it. I guess we're not. No fans at the Olympics, man. We just went over a year without fans. It has been so special having them back. This just broke my heart to hear that there's no fans. This is so sad.
Yeah, when I saw this, I was upset too. I was like, really? Like, we finally got fans back, like UFC events, MLB, NBA, everything. And then the biggest collective sporting, I don't know what to call it, sporting event, I guess, sporting tournament in the entire world, maybe besides the World Cup, like World Cup and the Olympics. That does suck. The Olympics is way bigger because it's all sports. So to see that with no fans was like, I'll say, the biggest sporting event in the world. That's unfortunate.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Now, Pat, let's move on, man. We got Ball Don't Lie, a little basketball coming up, and you guys know what it is. It's NBA Finals time, man. This has been a lot of fun to watch. Pat, just to get back to it, pretty much we said if Giannis is healthy, we have different predictions. You said if Giannis was healthy, Suns in 7. I said if Giannis is healthy, Bucks in 6. Are you sticking with your prediction first before we get into this?
Yeah, I'm looking good right now, and I know they'll play tonight, so I could be totally wrong, but I still see Suns in 6. I'm taking Suns in 6. Not Suns in 4, but Suns in 6. They did lose.
They are playing Wednesday night. Yep, and I got to tell you, man, I'm sticking Bucks in 6. I'm sticking Bucks in 6, even though they were down 0-2. I know everything that's been going on, man, but I'm just so confident in the fact that the Bucks have a better roster, and I think that they win Game 4 in Milwaukee. But man, are you really gonna have Mikal Bridges outplaying Chris Middleton for an entire series? Is that possible? Is Mikal Bridges that good? Do we just not rate the Suns players where they should be? Is that I'm confused by the Suns team, Pat. They keep doing it.
I'm very confused how they've continued to win series and continue to look extremely, extremely good doing it. And again, they did lose, but they won both in Phoenix. I think they're going to take game 4 tonight in Milwaukee. I think they're going to bounce back. But it does depend on the play, and it's on the shoulders of Devin Booker. I mean, he played terribly in game 3.
Yeah.
He had 10 points on 3 for 14 shooting, and then he got benched too. 3 for 14 shooting, 10 points from the best player on your team, the best scorer at least. So that's not going to do it. And then Mikal Bridges, like you were saying, relying on him too is tough because he had 27 points in game 2, and then he just had 4 in game 3. So when you have Devin Booker and Mikal Bridges both fall off like that, of course you're not going to win. And it showed in the first 2 games, they scored 118 points. And then I believe in this one, they only scored 100.
Yeah. And man, game 3 was a dominant win. It was the biggest win of the series. Giannis just did everything he wanted on the court. Their complementary players were playing well. And man, it goes back to home court advantage. I don't think people realize how significant it is. England certainly didn't realize how significant it was, Pat. We'll
they
talk
did
about
not.
that later.
They did not.
But man, the Bucks being at home and not having that Phoenix crowd going at them, they won by 23, 24, something like that. That is a blowout, man. And I was tweeting it out while I was watching the game, but people need to understand how special Giannis Antetokounmpo is. People don't put him in that top category like the LeBron, the Steph, the KD. Giannis is in that territory. Just because he doesn't shoot, just because he doesn't dribble fast enough between his legs for you and cross people up, what's wrong with having Shaquille O'Neal as your best player? There's nothing wrong with it, man. Let me tell you this. In this series, Giannis is averaging 34.3 points, 14 rebounds, 4.5 assists on 62.5% shooting. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's incredible.
The only players ever to have his stats in game 3 in a final series are Magic, LeBron, and Kevin Durant. He's the only player on his team with a positive plus minus. Not a single player on the Bucks has a positive plus minus except Giannis.
And he hyperextended his knee at the end of the last series. Like, do injuries even exist anymore? Like, all these guys are just playing through injuries. It's incredible. And Giannis is doing this with, I mean, I guess his knee's fine apparently, but he hyperextended his knee not that long ago. And here he is with this stat line. And he's certainly not Robin, like Kendrick Perkins says. Like,
so
he
disrespectful.
is so disrespectful. He is a menace on the court. It's unbelievable. And DeAndre Ayton, who's typically like a pretty decent paint defender or a court defender, or hoop defender. I'm just all over the place.
You're
but
good, brother.
No matter what, he's a good paint defender. And Giannis made him look like Swiss cheese, essentially. Like, he was just cutting him up all night. It was bad.
I'm with you, dude. And I got to tell you, it's so much fun watching Giannis play center because this is what he should be doing in today's modern NBA. He should be playing center. They have PJ Tucker at the 4. And dude, big men can take the game back, Pat. That's another thing I'm realizing. Giannis is a big man. Joel Embiid, Jokic just won MVP. Ayton's doing his thing. I think that we're seeing a small resurgence of the big, even though it's the smallest basketball ever played right now. But dude, like, Giannis is so special, and people are just mad because he's not a guard. People are mad because he can't shoot. Like, you don't have to do these things to dominate basketball. Giannis is doing it his way, and he's doing it in a way that no one has done since Shaquille O'Neal, man. And I just wish this dude would get his respect. Like, Giannis gets no respect. Back-to-back MVPs, defensive player of the year. He's special, man.
And is it just because he's in Milwaukee, which is, it's just not a big market, not a big franchise? I mean, all these other games have celebrities on the sideline. Milwaukee has like David Bakhtiari or whatever is it, the guy from the Packers.
Left tackle.
Yeah, and that's
true.
You always see the clips of him, and all these other courts, all these other teams have like big celebrities at their game. The Suns have Lil Wayne and whoever else. And then you go to the Bucks game and it's Dana Beers from Barstool and David Bakhtiari,
who look the same.
I hope I'm saying his name right, who look very similar. And Dana's wearing a Bakhtiari jersey. He's wearing a 69 Bakhtiari Bucks jersey. So that's who you have on the Milwaukee sidelines. I think that speaks a little bit to why Giannis is underrated. It's got to be it. It's got to. If he was playing on the Knicks, I think everyone.
So right.
Yeah, if he was playing on the Knicks, like, it would be a huge thing.
Imagine if he was in Anthony Davis's position
in
instead of
LA,
AD right now than
LeBron and
LeBron.
Giannis right now.
Giannis would be considered the second best player in basketball.
It would be unbelievable and most popular.
Yeah, without a doubt. And another thing that I thought while watching this game, Pat, and this is just super random, but Mike Budenholzer looks like Milwaukee. Like he looks
Did
like
you tweet that?
I did.
Yeah,
He
I saw
looks
that.
exactly like he should be coaching the Milwaukee Bucks.
He
Like
he
they showed
does.
the
Yeah, he's
fans.
very Milwaukee. Yeah,
They
like you
showed
say his name, and I'm like, who? Like, but he's
Budenholzer.
he's a head coach of one of the top 2 teams in the NBA. So
Dude, it's so crazy. Like they panned over some fans and then like Budenholzer, and I was like, he looks like one of them. Like he looks like he's exactly where he should be.
absolutely.
All right, Pat, who's winning game 4 then? Tomorrow night, it's when this podcast comes out. Wednesday night, game 4, Milwaukee. Who's winning?
It's Suns. Suns are good. The offense is going to be back. I think D-Book gets it together, and I think it's Suns 3-1 going back to Phoenix.
I'm gonna go Bucks. I'm gonna go close game though. I think Bucks by like 8. I don't think it's gonna be a super dominant win, but I think they hold on at home because I am just a firm believer in home court advantage, especially in the finals and especially not having fans for a year. I buy into it, and I'm also rooting for Giannis. Clearly, I just went on a monologue about him, but I love Giannis. He's a great guy. He's a great player, and I want him to get this ring. I want CP to get it so bad, but man. For
my prediction of 6, it actually does work better if the Suns lose, because then it'll be 2-2 and then they go back to Phoenix. But if they take a 3-1 advantage in Milwaukee and go back to Phoenix, they'll probably just win it right there. You know, that's probably it. So
yeah, this is the series right here. I think that this game right here,
it's pivotal.
3-1 going back to Phoenix, man, that's impossible.
Yeah, Milwaukee's got to win. It's a must win.
One time ever, 3-1 deficit in the finals. You know the story with LeBron. It's only happened once for a reason. It's hard to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's LeBron. So if that happened with Giannis and Giannis was able to pull that off, then I think people probably couldn't ignore him.
Yeah, being down 2-0 and you win 5 or you win 4 the next 5, that's that'd be pretty darn legit, man.
Yeah. And he was shooting his free throws a little quicker too. He wasn't taking as long.
He's shooting 66% in the series, go. Man. He's getting it up.
Giannis is gonna be beloved if he like starts shooting free throws better. Everyone's gonna love him. That's all it is.
70%. That's all you need, Giannis.
He's just a meme because he takes 13 seconds at the line.
Yeah, and I love too. They asked him, they're like, Giannis, does it affect you? Like, do you hear it when the fans are counting? And he goes, yeah, there's 20,000 people counting to 10. Of course I hear it. Of course it. What do you mean?
What do you think at that point is making him airball, you know? Of course it's the crowd. They're counting to 13 and then he airballs. It's probably because even though he doesn't show it, his face is calm, cool, collected. He's not. I wouldn't be. I certainly would not be.
20,000 people yelling at him, man. I mean, what a stupid question.
And then you airball and the second free throw is just like, oh, I got to shoot another one.
They say that there's no stupid questions, Pat, but that's just not true. It's just not true.
Sometimes it's very true.
All right, Pat, anything else on basketball or are we moving on?
No, I'm just excited for the rest of the series. And I think it depends, but by the time we record next week, it could be over.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It absolutely could. It absolutely could, man. Time to move on. A little extra time, Pat. The Euros are over, man. Pat, how's your Italian buddy feeling right now? Is it?
Oh, he's feeling good. He's feeling very good. I watched. He was live streaming it. He had like a watch party and he was on Twitch because he streams, and so I watched him and I had the game up at the same time. And even though there's like a slight delay on his stream, I kind of watch what happens. Then I look over and I'm like, oh, how will he react? So it was funny. And when they won in PKs, it was I was happy for him. You know, like I felt bad for England because they did really choke, but and my girlfriend's granddad's straight from England, so I gotta root for them. And there's a lot of players from Man City there, but I was happy for my buddy. It was cool. He was pumped.
We should have had him on, man. How do we miss that for this?
We tried, and then I went away. And if I didn't miss 2 weeks, we would have had him on.
I should have had him on tonight for the final, man. But
yeah, he would have gave us his instant reaction. Well, his family's over in Italy right now, and they were sending him video. Yeah, they were sending him videos, and it's crazy. Like they're going crazy all hours of the day over there. And the bus was coming through with the team, and the streets were just filled. Like it was like a Patriots Super Bowl parade, but on a countrywide scale. You know, everyone in Italy is just doing that.
They're probably still going 2 days
Yeah,
later.
it's like you just
still going.
take New England and blow it up to the size of Italy, and then that's what you have, just a nationwide Super Bowl
Absolutely
parade.
nuts. Absolutely nuts, dude. That is awesome, dude. So obviously England come out and score in the second minute, dude. Luke Shaw on a
yeah.
beautiful cross, man.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful passing. Luke Shaw, first ever international goal for England, dude. Just could not believe it. I was at work and I was like, you got to be kidding me, man. I'm rooting for Italy. And I was like, all right, this is ridiculous. But the good news is, Pat, when you score that early, it's kind of like it's a 0-0 game.
Yeah.
England has to defend a lead, and now they have to defend Italy going even harder for 88 minutes.
88 minutes.
You know, obviously that crazy scramble happens, and Bonucci, you know, ends up putting that in, which was beautiful to watch. I just love watching defenders score.
Yeah. And a guy like Bonucci, who's been there, he's just been there so many times. He's a veteran. He's just for his country. Like, this could be his last run with the national team. I don't know. He could be in the World Cup, but it's one of them. So it was a cool moment for him. And to your point, with 88 minutes and it's like a 0-0 game, I mean, it's 88 minutes for something crazy like that to happen, where the ball hits the post and then falls to the defender and just on a corner kick. So any set piece is dangerous, and that was bound to happen at some point for one of the teams in the 88 minutes. It just happened to be Italy.
Absolutely, man. And I mean, you put it on here, but England kind of had everything set for them, right, Pat?
Yeah, I said the stars aligned for him. I mean, I think they played almost all. There was like maybe 2 games they didn't play at Wembley, which is their
games.
Yeah, 7 of 8 games at their home stadium at England with fans back. I don't think fans were fully back allowed like the whole tournament, but for the semifinal and the final, there were over 60,000 people there. And you could see video of outside the gates. People were literally, I think towards the end of the game, people were like bulldozing into the stadium, like running over security guards. So, I mean, you probably ended up with 80,000 people in the stadium. So you have all that. You have fans back. You have fans, too many fans for the stadium to even fit. And you score in the second minute too. So you have a lead the entire game. And then the stars were aligned. Like, it was destined. Everyone's saying it's coming home, and then it's coming Rome. It's coming Rome. Yep. So it's going back to Italy and England. Yeah. I mean, that's what I said to my buddy. I was like, how ironic. Like, they're saying it's coming home when it's already at home because they're playing at Wembley, and then they have to see it leave. Instead of winning it and actually coming home, they have to see it leave England. Like, it's 5 feet from their trophy case, and it's going to take off.
How cool is it to watch Italy get engraved into the trophy? Like,
yeah, those guys are just on standby. It's hilarious. Yeah, it's like the golf tournaments too. Like, they're on the 18th hole coming up, and you see like the guy instantly working away at it. They do it for the World Cup, Euros. So
they're putting the ribbons in, and I'm like, what if they put the wrong color? What if they put them in the wrong order? It's serious stuff, man. Serious stuff.
It is. Those guys got to work fast. Those guys got to work very fast.
Shout out to the trophy people, man. Absolutely. So, Pat, it obviously comes down to penalties. And the story here, man, I think there's 2 stories. One, where does Donnarumma rank in the best goalkeepers in the world? And 2, Gareth Southgate, man, what was this penalty rotation you put out there? I love the move. You sub off Jordan Henderson and Kyle Walker for Jadon Sancho and Marcus Rashford. You're like, you know what? I'm going to put 2 forwards on for a midfielder and a defender.
It was good on paper, right? It was good on paper.
Absolutely. I'm with you, Gareth, man. And then the penalties come. Some things happen. Harry Maguire's was beautiful, man. I mean,
that was the best one. It was amazing.
Kane
missed, center back. Right? No, Kane buried his. Kane and Maguire scored theirs, so they got 2. And then it was Rashford, Sancho, and then Saka.
So riddle me this, Pat. You have Jack Grealish and Raheem Sterling, and you put in front of them a 23-year-old, a 21-year-old, and a 19-year-old. Saka takes the final penalty. He has never taken a penalty in his professional career. Never for Arsenal, never for England. And you put him up with the game on the line. A 19-year-old. What is wrong with you, Gareth? You had Raheem Sterling and Jack Grealish right there. Oh, dude, it's so frustrating.
And it was, besides Rashford's, it was 2 really bad penalties. Yes. Like, Rashford hit the post, and that was very unlucky because he went the right way with it. But Sancho and Saka's penalties were not good. Sancho being the worst of the 3. But Yeah, like, I mean, to your point, never had a penalty. He's 19 years old, and you're going to put him at the last penalty spot, right? With the pressure on. That's in front of, again, 60 plus thousand of your own fans. There were some
And
Italians there too, but mostly
right.
England.
And obviously I'm biased here, Pat, but one of the subs they subbed Jordan Henderson on at halftime and then subbed him out 2 minutes before the end of the game so that it would be for the penalty shootout to put in Sancho and
Mm-hmm.
Rashford. Do you not want a 28-year-old international and club captain who's won things, has all the experience in the world? He missed a penalty early in qualifiers for England,
Mm-hmm.
but they were up. It didn't matter. But
Yeah.
wouldn't you want that guy taking it over a 19-year-old that's never taken a single penalty? And Gareth Southgate knows that. You
Yeah,
know
like
the stats on all these guys. You know that.
I'm sure Jordan Henderson can score a penalty. It's not like he missed one, to your point, but I would still rather him over a 19-year-old.
And Sancho too, honestly.
Yeah, Sancho too. Unproven in penalty shootouts. Jordan Henderson, yeah, he's a veteran. He's been around forever.
Yeah,
Captain
man.
for a long time.
All right, Pat. So where does Donnarumma rank in the world's best goalkeepers? I still have Allison, Ederson, and Jan Oblak over him, but I think fourth is pretty darn good for a 22, 23-year-old goalkeeper.
Yeah, Donnarumma's got to be top 5. I think he's above Courtois at this point. I think Kasper Schmeichel should be up there. He's very underrated. Kasper Schmeichel's very good.
Neuer is kind of
Jordan Pickford for England too. He's looking a lot, but he's looking better. He's looking pretty good. He's going to be very good as he gets older too. But Donnarumma, like, especially for his age, 22 years old, unbelievable. He's younger than both of us, and
fills the goal, man. He's huge. He's like 6'5", and he saves that penalty from Saka, and he just walks off so casually. Just no excitement. He just walks away. He's like, I've been here. This is what I do.
Well, it was funny. I actually saw. So that's what I thought too, because my buddy was like, "Act like you." He's like, "That's the definition of act like you've been here before. Give you experience that." And he actually said in a quote, he was quoted as saying he didn't know they had won. He didn't realize that. Yeah, he didn't want to like jump the gun or anything. He didn't realize they had won, so he walked away like all cool. And then his teammates started grabbing him, and I was like, because in the moment I was like, "That's crazy." He just walked away. That was savage, but he didn't realize they had won.
That is hilarious, dude.
Yeah.
That was like a cool guy don't look at explosions kind of moment.
It was,
like,
I know. He shouldn't have said anything. He should have just let us think he walked away. Just so savage. And what was crazy about that too is Jordan Pickford's save before that was electric with all the English fans, and he saved that penalty right before that. Oh, so cool. Yeah. The fist pump, everyone was jumping, and then Donnarumma just broke all their hearts.
So I got to tell you, Pat, I was like explaining to my family, I got home from work and we were like going to eat dinner, but I was explaining to them why I had to watch this. And I was like telling them, I was like, I hate Jordan Pickford because in Liverpool's second or third game of the year, he destroyed Van Dijk. Van Dijk was out for a year, ruined Liverpool. I was like, I hate him. No Pickford. And then he's just playing off his head, dude. He was unbelievable. Shout out to Pickford, man. He was
in the tournament, he really shined. There's a lot of players who really shine just in world tournaments, like James Rodriguez. That's the one that comes to mind. And then they get a big transfer. But Pickford's already got his big club, but he showed out.
Without a doubt, man. And Pat, Italy's the World Cup favorite. I'm 100% with you. You said it last week. I'm agreeing with you.
They have to be. They haven't lost a game, and I think it was 2018. It's been like a little over 2 years. They haven't lost a game. It's unbelievable.
36 undefeated run or something like. It's crazy.
And they sure looked like they were going to get that first loss in the final, and they didn't. I think they got to be World Cup favorites at this point.
I'm so happy for Bonucci and Chiellini, like, I'm just so happy for them.
I'm curious where their rankings will go to, and where Belgium will be as well. I don't know if they've updated them yet. I don't know how often they do that, but I want to see how high Italy is now. Yeah,
no, I absolutely agree. I'm with you there, man. Pat, let's move on. Copa America, be interesting to see where these two teams rank on the world rankings too. Argentina beats Brazil 1-0. Pat, that Angel Di Maria goal was beautiful.
Yeah, it was.
That was just like, and I wrote this down to talk about later, but Di Maria is now 10th all time for Argentina in goals, this dude needs to get his international flowers because he just won Copa America. Like the story is Messi gets his Copa. Di
Mhm.
Maria put in a ridiculously hard goal, and his international legacy needs to be boosted because
It
that
has to
goal
be.
was special.
Yeah.
Special.
As important as it was for Messi, he didn't score, and Di Maria was the one to get the job done. Their defense got the job done as well. I mean, holding
Yes.
Brazil to no goals, but Di Maria's got to get the shine for that.
Without a doubt, without a doubt. And obviously, dude, the story, it's Messi. He gets his international trophy. What was the one knock against Messi? No
No
international
international.
trophy.
Yep. If you had
And
any argument for Ronaldo in the GOAT conversation, that is now over. I love Ronaldo. I'm a Ronaldo guy through and through, but Messi got the one thing Ronaldo had over him, and Messi's the undisputed GOAT.
Messi was already the GOAT, and then
Yes.
he checked off the last box. Like
That was all that was
that's
missing.
that's pretty special,
He
man.
has everything else.
And
He has
literally
everything
everything.
else.
And I will say a comment. I when I went on Twitter or Instagram, I was like, I already know. Like, I can't wait to see what the Ronaldo fans have to say because every comment is just like, Pessi can't do this, Pinaldo can't. It's just so dumb. And then the first comment I see, Pat, is Ronaldo winning Euros is like Leicester winning the Premier League, and Argentina winning Copa is Bayern winning Bundesliga. Well, I do agree that it's harder to win Euros. Beating Brazil is as good as beating Germany, Belgium, France, any and all of the
Absolutely.
above. The correct comparison would have been Spain because it's Real Madrid, Barcelona, Atletico won this year, but then everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
That would be the correct comparison, not Bundesliga. But this cements it, man. Messi's the GOAT, and it's not close. It's not bad to be the second best ever. I say it all the time on this podcast. Ronaldo's the second best ever at his profession. That's pretty good, man. That's really
Absolutely.
good.
Yeah, Ronaldo's got his whole set of highlight reel plays. Messi's got his, and that's what I see too now that they're later in their careers, is that why don't we just stop and enjoy what they're doing in the sport, because eventually they're going to be gone and we won't have them anymore. And there might be something similar to it someday, but there's never going to be another, Messi Ronaldo rivalry. So enjoy it for what it is, because they're both getting old. Ronaldo's
Yeah.
34 years old. Might even be out at
Maybe even
Juventus.
older.
Yeah, he's going to be turning 35 soon, and we don't know where his next club's going to be, if he's going to move on from Juventus, because there's rumors that he might. It's coming to an end right in front of our eyes. So I definitely, like, for the last 5 years, have been appreciating it a lot more.
Yeah, man. Appreciate greatness, man. It is what it is. They're unbelievable. Like you said, there's never going to be a soccer rivalry like that again.
Never.
Mbappe Holland is not. It's not
No,
Messi Ronaldo, man.
there won't be.
There's nothing even close. Not even Pele Maradona, man.
Both guys coming
this
up
is
when
it.
they were like 16, 17 and just instantly making an impact and going to the biggest clubs in the world.
Special, man. Special
Unreal.
players. And Pat, you threw it on here too. Your boy Aguero, man. I know you want to show him some love.
Yeah, it was good to see him win. And that was the thing with England losing too, is that, like, Raheem Sterling lost the Champions League final and then he loses the Euro final a month later. That is Kyle Walker too, Phil Foden. That is
Right.
devastating. And so I was happy that I didn't have to see Aguero lose another final, at least. Like, that was the silver lining. Aguero went through a lot. He's leaving Man City. They lost the Champions League final. So for him to win an international cup before he makes his move to where's Barca? Yeah. So, it was Messi, his teammate now, potentially, unless Messi leaves. That's a whole nother talking point. But it was good to see Aguero get a win.
Absolutely, dude. And I saw just a wonderful post, and it was Messi and Aguero arm around each other, holding up their Copa America medals, whatever it was. And then it was them at the 2004 Olympics. Same exact pose with their Olympic golds, because Olympic soccer is U23. So they led the U23 Argentina team to Olympic gold. And it was cool to see that full circle, man. 2004 winning the Olympics. Now, 2021 winning Copa, man. That is like a lifetime together winning, and it was really cool to see. It was really cool to see.
Yeah, absolutely. And Argentina's first, I think, international title since 1993. So It's been a long time for Argentina. Messi's been around forever too.
Been a minute, man. Been a minute. Pat, before we get into listener questions, I just want to say what our boy Keegan Nutt submitted as a listener question as we round out the soccer conversation. And I quote, Not a question, but England blew the Euros. Italy are better, but England blew it so hard, frowny face. And I mean, I can agree with that. England blew it.
Yeah.
England blew it.
Yeah, we can get behind that statement for sure. They are harsh, but they are a perpetual loser in tournaments. They haven't won since 1966. And I feel like every time I watch them in a national tournament that I've been alive, they blow it of some sort. They do something that's just way below expectations. This time they made it past my expectations to the final, but still ended up blowing it. But I think back to, the tie against the US, and it was the English papers were like England loses 1-1 to the US. So they're perpetual losers on the national stage. I don't want them to be, but they are.
I want them to be. I love watching England lose, mostly to watch England fans go crazy. But oh man,
There's just too many English players I like now, and I feel bad.
That's fair. That's fair, man. All right. So listener questions. As always, Joe Braverman submitting some good listener questions. Check out his podcast, Let Me Speak, at Let Me Speak Official on IG. Pat, what is the most dysfunctional franchise in sports today? This question could go a million different
There's
ways.
so many, because you think about just teams that have never won. I mean, I feel like all those should qualify. Washington, as we said, Washington football team is a dysfunctional franchise. I'm thinking about like the Hornets, Pelicans franchise. They've never put anything together. I think
Sticking in the NFL, Pat, I'm looking also right now, and this is like very recency bias, the Houston Texans. The Houston Texans draft David Carr with their
They're
first
very
overall pick.
dysfunctional right now.
They draft Clowney and trade him for nothing. They trade D-Hop for nothing. They get rid of J.J. Watt. Deshaun Watson has 22 allegations against him. They don't know who their quarterback's going to be. Bill O'Brien was the worst GM in sports history. I mean,
yeah, you got a lot more reasons than I did. That's they are definitely dysfunctional right now.
Just recency bias. Like last couple of years, man, it's like Texans, what are you doing?
Yeah,
man?
They're not just all the time dysfunctional, but for the last, I would say even like 2 years since the D-Hop trade, like you mentioned, it's just been dysfunction.
And I don't have any evidence to back this one up, but I feel like never once in my life, this year and last year, they weren't terrible. Never once in my life have the Miami Marlins been good at baseball. I know nothing about them, but I'm not sure they've ever been good.
They used to be Florida when they were the Florida Marlins when we were growing up.
Right.
They had won a World Series when we were growing up, and they used to be really good, but we're talking 20 years ago. So to your credit, for the last 20 years, yeah, they've been a very dysfunctional franchise. And since Jeter came along, even more so. I mean, they had the tragedy with Jose Fernandez. They lost their best pitcher. They had to get rid of Giancarlo Stanton. They got rid of Marcell Ozuna. They got rid of Christian Yelich. I mean, we're talking about MVP caliber players, and
multiple.
They're getting rid of everyone. They're constant. They're basically a farm team for the rest of the MLB. It's like, who wants to pick apart the Marlins and just get future stars? The Brewers get Christian Yelich, Marcell Ozuna. I don't remember where he went off the top of my head. Possibly the Braves. I don't know. It's a good point. They frustrate me as a franchise because I want them to succeed. Because I always liked Jose Fernandez. He had the same birthday as me, and it made me like the Marlins. I liked Giancarlo Stanton. I liked Yelich, and they frustrate me.
It's been a minute since they've been good, without a doubt.
It's been a while.
Any other teams on that list for you, or let's move on to the next
I can think of. I mean, I said Washington, Hornets, Pelicans franchise. I don't know.
Sacramento Kings might be up there. There's so many. Yeah, 15.
Just like teams that are never good enough. There's so many of those.
The Browns got out of it.
The Mariners
got out of it.
The Mariners are never good.
Yeah, it's been a minute for them.
The Orioles are I mean, they made the playoffs, I think, a couple times in the last 10 years, but beyond that, they're terrible every time. Every year they're terrible.
That's just because the best team in baseball is the Boston Red Sox, Pat. Come on.
I mean, the AL East is a consistently tough division. I will give the Orioles that, but
no excuse.
They're dysfunctional.
Without a doubt. I saw this one on IG, man. It was on a page called Hoop Stop Forever, and it was, what is Dirk Nowitzki's one ring more impressive than KD's 2 rings? with Golden State. I got to tell you, I think Dirk's championship is one of the most impressive in basketball history.
Yeah,
And I think
I'm gonna say yes.
KD's 2 championships in Golden State are 2 of the least impressive wins in championship history. So I'm going to go with the Dirk's 1 ring. Like if I had to choose which championships I had won, I would go with Dirk's 1 over Kevin Durant's 2.
I would as well, because you look at the teammates, right? We have JJ Barea, Sean Marion, who are good players, but did they have Jason Terry
and Tyson Chandler?
Jason Kidd, Tyson Chandler. I mean, these are not world beaters. They're good players. They're not world beaters. Jason Kidd was getting older, and yeah, I would definitely take Dirk Nowitzki's ring. That for sure. That was unbelievable that they won that year, and against the competition they beat too.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Unbelievable. And then you have the Warriors. KD joined them. It's a super team. I would definitely say Dirk's is more impressive.
Yeah, we definitely agree there. Jimmy McQuaid's been submitting a lot of questions. Unfortunately, Jimmy, we already talked about U.S. basketball's back-to-back losses. Nothing good there. But Brett submitted some similar questions. And to follow up, man, is Team USA, 1, losing, is it good for international basketball as a whole? And 2, is the rest of the world catching up? You mentioned that a little bit before, Pat.
Yeah, competition is healthy, I would say. So I think yes. I think everything competition is necessary. It's never good to see one team blowing out everyone. I love that Team USA is so good, but when was the last time I actually watched an Olympic basketball game? Never, because the US always beats the other team they're playing by 20 to 30 points. So like the competition is just, it hasn't been stiff. I mean, like I said before, you had Spain and Argentina as the biggest challengers as I was growing up, and they had Manu Ginobili and Luis Scola.
Right.
It's just, yeah, it's good for international basketball, definitely. And I hope the world continues to catch up, as they are, slowly but surely. Team USA, I think there's still a wide gap as a whole, but it's definitely catching up.
Yeah, like I said, I think that the U.S. 10th team could still win gold at the Olympics, but I also do think the rest of the world is catching up. You're seeing talent from everywhere. You're seeing people with dual citizenship play for other countries, and it's awesome to see, man. And like you said, who wants to see Bayern win every year? Who wants to see PSG win every year? You don't. It's like, of course, we do as U.S. fans, but it's fun watching them lose an exhibition game, you know. This is where you build a little character. This is when you get a little hair on your chest and get a feel for international basketball and the different rules and stuff. So I like it, man. I think that it is good for international basketball to see, all right, these guys can be beaten, and now this gives us the confidence to go do the same, even though we're a small country.
Absolutely. Yeah. I 100% agree with you. I really hope those teams continue to get better.
Man, my boy Vin from work, when are you guys going to stop sleeping on hockey? We gave it a headline last week, Pat, didn't we? We gave it a headline.
We did give it a headline. We kind of brushed by it within 45 seconds, but that's okay. We're just not hockey guys.
And Pat, I don't want to use
I wouldn't do it any justice if I talked about it.
Right. It's like you kind of don't want us talking about
You don't
it,
want me to talk about hockey.
So, Pat, I just want to bring this up, and I don't want to rash on Vin, but he submitted this, and I just happened to see these statistics.
Yep.
That in the NHL playoffs, the average game was 924,000 viewers. The Euros in the US averaged 1.36 million. Soccer has passed hockey in the United States. It hasn't. The MLS has not passed hockey, but soccer has passed hockey as a whole in the United States, and I think that's pretty cool right now.
That is cool. It'll be a long time before the MLS passes it. I think maybe eventually it will. It's getting bigger and bigger each year, but yeah, as a whole, I mean, that's cool, because I'm not a hockey guy, but we are soccer guys. So to see soccer grow in the US, because I want the US national team to be better, and the only way for that to happen is if more kids play soccer and there's a bigger talent pool to select from.
Without a doubt, man. All right, we got 2 baseball questions before we wrap the show up. Who do you think the Sox will trade before the deadline? I'm not sure who they're going to move before the deadline. I really hope it's Garrett Richards. If not, we just cut him. But I'm hoping that we bring people in. Apparently, we're going to Cole Hamels' workout. I'm hoping that we add some bullpen depth or starting pitching. That's what we need. But Honestly, I'm not quite sure who the Sox would be looking to move. I love how this team's gelled. I love how they're clicking, and I like how we're put together right now, other than the pitching staff.
That's the thing, right? I would do anything for better pitching. I mean, Chris Sale's going to come back, and
Yes.
I really hope he's the
Yes.
same after Tommy John. I really hope, because you either come back really good, even better than before, or you come back just significantly worse. So, if is he going to be like Matt Harvey, or is he going to be like, I don't know, insert famous pitcher to come back from Tommy John? There's been a
Right.
lot. I just can't think of any off the top of my head. We have that going for us, but I really hope we go for a bullpen or something, because our bullpen's terrible and our starting rotation is not good.
I absolutely agree with you there, man. And another question from Joe Braverman: could Shohei Ohtani still win the American League MVP even if the Angels miss the playoffs? Normally, I would say no, because I don't ever want an MVP to be on a team that doesn't make the playoffs. That's just kind of one of those arbitrary rules I follow. But what he's doing is so special, and it is so out of this world. I think he could do it. And also because of the narrative, Pat. This is a narrative based vote a lot of the time. And the fact that Shohei Ohtani is leading the league in home runs, is pitching and winning games. This dude is in the home run derby. Then the next day, he's hitting leadoff for the American League in the All Star game, and he's starting the game for the American League. It's as a pitcher, it's crazy what he's doing. He's the first Japanese person to ever be in the home run derby, and the first pitcher to ever listen to that. He's the first pitcher to participate in the home run derby. It's special. I would love to see him win MVP. I would love it.
It's absolutely a possibility, and I hope he does, because Mike Trout's won MVP 4 times on the same exact team, and they've
Something like
never
that,
made the
yeah.
playoffs with him. They've just been perpetual losers with the best player in baseball for like 8 years on their team. So yeah, I think Shohei could definitely win, and probably should, if he continues it.
Yeah, without a doubt, man. It would be really fun to see. I mean, he is just such an electric player and such a fun personality. It's been great seeing his rise to stardom. I absolutely love it. But Pat, as always, man, time to get on to what we've learned. But first, of course, we have to get a little ad in from Book Thinkers. So you guys know, but if you read personal development books, you got to check out Book Thinkers. This company is dedicated to helping you fulfill your life through books. Every single day on Instagram, they're posting. Every week, they post a podcast with the top author. And I'll tell you, this team over at Book Thinkers, their goal is to help you discover new books and new mentors. That way you can achieve more and live better. The right book can absolutely change your life if you read it at the right time. So please go over to Instagram. That's the most popular platform. Type in Book Thinkers and search Book Thinkers. I just totally flubbed up. But please search Book Thinkers on Instagram, and please go to www.bookthinkers.com to learn about this team and what they're doing more, Pat. But Pat, let's get on to what we've learned, man. What you got? What'd you learn this week?
We've done it so many times. I feel like it's a matter of either getting tongue tied or like, I don't know. I don't know why.
It
happens.
like once a week.
It happens.
I could just read it, but I want to riff a little, you know.
Yeah, you don't want it to be the same thing every time. You got to make
Exactly.
it your own, even though you do the same read like every week. So it's kind of tough to make that same ad your own,
Sometimes
29 times. It's kind of tough.
Sometimes I just got to mess up and go into the mic on the podcast. It is what it is, guys. Thanks for listening.
But what I've learned anyways is that MLB All Star Weekend is just not the same as it once was, and it actually is the same for all All Star Weekends. I mean, NBA All Star Weekend when we were growing up, I feel like it was electric, and it hit its peak when like the dunk contest was hitting its peak, because that was so fun. But now it's not really that fun anymore. I don't know if it's because we're grown up, or it's just because they just don't bring in the same talent they once did. But when like Nate Robinson and Dwight Howard were in it, that was when it peaked. The 3-point contest was exciting. The All Star game was even exciting. And then the same for the MLB, which was my main point anyways, is that, the game used to mean something. It used to mean home field advantage for the World Series, which I liked. The jerseys used to be better. The jerseys are not good this year, and they haven't been as great in past years either. So there's just a lot to it that's just not exciting to me anymore. I don't know about other people, but definitely not to me.
I agree with you, and I think the absence of stars from the events are huge,
Mhm.
because there's no Albert Pujols, David Ortiz, Manny Ramirez, Ken Griffey Jr. There's none of those guys getting that draw, and it is a shame. It absolutely is a shame. Pat,
Yeah, it's definitely tough.
that man, what I learned this week is, Pat, I've told you, man, I'm trying to get this guy on the podcast, Justin True, and he has an absolutely absurd story. It's like I laugh just showing people it, but I've been trying to get him on. We've been messaging back and forth. We haven't been able to figure out a time. My man's in London right now. He has COVID this week, so he's trying to rest up. He can't do any late recordings with us. But I just want to let you guys know about my man Justin True real quick, because I went on his website and I learned some crazy things about this dude, Pat. One, I sent it to Pat, but he is trying to complete America's largest triathlon ever in the fall. Pat, this includes a 50-mile swim from the Bahamas to Miami through the Bermuda Triangle is how they market it. And then a 3,000-mile bike ride from Miami to San Diego. And then a 600-mile run from San Diego to San Francisco. It'd be the largest triathlon ever done in America. And I was like, okay, like what else has this guy done? This guy's absolutely absurd. He was one of the first 4 people, he did it with 3 other people, to walk coast to coast on the island of Madagascar. I don't know why, but I'm super
It's a
here for it.
cool thing to have done.
And
Not I mean, it's an athletic feat, I guess, but they did walk it, but it's just a cool fact of life.
he was doing a walk from Egypt to South Africa, so he's going to walk like all of Africa, but it got
That's
canceled.
an athletic feat. That's a lot of walking.
But because of COVID, they had to cut it short because of travel restrictions, so he's planning on resuming it. And here's my favorite one, Pat. 26.2 mile. He did a full marathon pulling a car.
What? That's unbelievable.
26.2, just pulling a
absolutely
car.
Unbelievable. I mean, here I am over here, like it's just putting me to shame, honestly. That's the fact that humans can do this type of thing, and then I'm just here.
Well, Pat, I will say absurd. He is 6'4", 225, so he has that advantage over us. You know, he's a big dude.
But that's not even good for like cardio, though. That's not even the best for cardio. I should have better cardio than him if I was in shape. So the fact that he's doing that is unbelievable. I mean, that helps for pulling a car. That's for sure.
Well, you see why I want to talk to this guy now. I just want to get inside his head for 20 minutes and get him on the pod to hear what he has to say, because
this is unbelievable,
man. This is unbelievable.
Truly. I would love to know what it takes to even do something like that.
Man, it'll be fun to talk to him. Hopefully that'll be in the next couple of weeks. We can schedule a time. Like I said, he's in London right now, so you know, little communication issue there, but it's all good, man. It's all good. Pat, you got anything else? Are we wrapping this thing up?
No, I hope we can adjust for that. I think it's like 5 or 6 hour difference. So hopefully we can adjust for that with our guy Justin True. Unless does he live in London, or does he?
So honestly, I'm not sure. I messaged him and I said like, hey, we're both from Massachusetts. We're Eastern time zone. He's like, I'm in London, so it's 5 hour different. And he said normally he'd be down for that 11 p.m. recording. But he said that with COVID, he's like, I gotta rest up, man.
Yeah, you can't be doing that
when you're healthy,
especially if you're doing things like that.
Right? We're gonna let him get healthy. We'll get him on the pod, man. Pat, time to land this plane, end this podcast, man. It's been fun, and episode 29 in the books already. Yeah, dude,
I like that.
You know, start coming up with some corny things to say.
Yeah, episode 29 though. I do. I can't believe it. So we'll be a big 30 next week.
We will. We'll be celebrating, man. And it's been fun as always. Please do anything you can to share the message of this podcast. Share it with that one friend who listens to sports podcasts or likes sports that doesn't know about it. Please like our post, comment, subscribe, leave reviews, do anything you can, as long as it's nice and positive. Don't do anything mean. No, nothing negative. We're a positive podcast here. But it's been fun, man. Thank you for spending this hour and a half, whatever it is, with us. We do not take your attention or your time for granted. So thank you to all listeners out there, man. It's been fun.
Thanks for listening, guys. We'll catch you next week for episode 30.
You are listening to Right Off the Bus.